Today on Origins of Expressions, we're going to explore the origins and meanings of the phrases I'm all ears, elbow grease, knee-jerk reaction. What do they all have in common? They're all phrases and idioms around body parts. Let's go ahead and move right in. Idioms are groups of words and phrases used to express feelings and ideas. Authors, playwrights, journalists, and the like used idioms to help their audience understand the characters or subjects' thoughts and feelings that they were writing about. Using body parts was an obvious choice for writers. Most of the audience probably had those body parts, so they could relate better to the situation. Today, we're going to stretch into some idioms around body parts. I'm all ears. I'm all ears means that you are listening and focused on the information that is being delivered. It is used when you need to be attentive and listen carefully to the person talking. I'm all ears. This idiom might have roots in Rome during the rule of Caesar. Caesar used a famous saying, "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears." The first written record of the phrase all ears was in the London Magazine in 1752. It read, "Now we're all ears while blank sings." I wasn't able to find who they were talking about, but the singer must have been great if someone was focused on them so much. The way this idiom is written makes it sound like it's common terminology. It suggests that it was widely used before the appearance in the London Magazine. This idiom, unlike others, has more of a literal meaning, since we use our ears for hearing and listening. The idiom, I'm all ears, is telling people, I am listening to you. An example sentence would be, the learners in my class were all ears when I was telling them a story. Today, the idiom, I'm all ears, is used the same way as it has always been. You use it to express that you are actively listening. I'm all ears. Now that I have your attention, let's go ahead and move into our next phrase of this episode. Elbow grease. Elbow grease has been used since the 17th century. It was originally used in street language or within the lower class society. Its meaning was applied to hard manual labor. There was a similar passage in 1639. It said, "The smell of elbow grease," which suggests it might have started as a sporting reference to sweat, but quickly changed to the efforts needed in a manual labor job. Give it some elbow grease. The first written record of elbow grease was in 1672 in Rehearsal Transposed by Andrew Marvell. The book is a satire about the intolerance from English Parliament of religion and dissenting politics of the time period. It read, "2 or 3 brawny fellows in the corner with mere ink and elbow grease do more harm than 100 systematical divines with their sweaty preaching." Funny story. Elbow grease has also been used as a prank played on new recruits or apprentices. They are given the task by a supervisor to go get or retrieve elbow grease. This sends the new person out on a hunt for something that doesn't exist. Today, we use the saying elbow grease when we have to put extra effort into a manual labor job. An example sentence is, "Yes, I can open that jar for you. All it takes is a little elbow grease." Ooh, fun fact. Did you know the length from your wrist to your elbow is the same length as your foot? Well, that might make shoe shopping easier. Let's go ahead and walk on over to our third and last idiom today. Knee-jerk reaction. Knee-jerk reaction comes from the medical field. When you have an involuntary reaction when somebody sharply hits just below your kneecap. Scientifically, this is called the patellar reflex. Because of this involuntary action, we have used this phrase knee-jerk reaction figuratively over the last 200 years. Just like the scientific meaning of knee-jerk, we use it to explain a behavior that we do without thinking. It's an instant and spontaneous reaction. The first written record was a medical journal in 1877 by Sir Michael Foster. It was a textbook on physiology. It read, striking the tendon below the patella gives rise to a sudden extension of the leg, known as the knee jerk. When the term began being used figuratively, it was written in the Coshocton Tribune by O. McIntyre's column New York Day by Day in 1921. It read, itinerant preacher, steaming Broadway on a soapbox, and only gets an occasional knee jerk. Today we still use the phrase knee jerk to explain an action that we didn't think about before doing. An example sentence is, when the band started to play music, I had a knee jerk reaction to start dancing. Well, there are the 3 idioms around body parts, our ears, elbows, and knees. I hope you enjoyed learning about them. Try using them when you're talking with your friends and family. Don't forget, before you go, subscribe if you haven't yet. It doesn't take too much elbow grease to hit that button. Also, before you go, do you know any idioms or phrases that have to do with body parts? Maybe you know other idioms about other subjects. I'd love to see them. Leave them in the comments below. Maybe you'll see them in future videos. If I use an idiom idea you give me, I'll give you a shout out on that video. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I appreciate your time. Until next time, bye.